There are places in Scotland that feel remote. And then there's Lewis and Harris, an island so wild, so windswept, and so ridiculously beautiful. You start wondering why you ever bothered going abroad. But here's the strange part. Lewis and Harris aren't two islands. They are one. A single landmass split into two regions. Lewis in the north, which is flatter, rich in history, and Harris in the south, which is more mountainous, dramatic, and home to beaches that look like the Caribbean, if the Caribbean came with a permanent wind machine. Together, they form the largest island in Scotland, covering around 2,179 square kilometres, with a population of roughly 20,000 people. And over the next 4 days, I was about to explore it. Starting in Ullapool, slightly sleep deprived, and questioning why I had a couple of beers the night before. Good morning from Ullapool. I have to tell you that I didn't get great sleep at all last night. Just waiting in line, waiting actually to check in to go on the MV Loch Seaforth, which will take us to Stornoway today. Weather conditions is quite breezy outside, so could expect maybe a choppy crossing. I began my journey in the small town of Ullapool, which is situated in the northwest of Scotland on the shore of Loch Broom. Ullapool is a beautiful harbour town, and let's be honest, I was far too tired to appreciate it properly, and possibly a little hungover too. But I had no time to waste, because I had a ferry to catch. I boarded the MV Loch Seaforth, which is operated by Caledonian MacBrain, or CalMac for short, for the crossing over the Minch. Now, this stretch of water has a bit of a reputation, but thankfully it actually behaved itself today. The crossing wasn't too bad, it was bumpy in places, but it can be quite a rough crossing. But the views looking over to the Scottish mainland and some of the smaller islands are absolutely stunning. And this is definitely one of the most beautiful ferry crossings you can take in Scotland. I spent some time recovering outside on deck, but I did return inside to recuperate in various seating lounges and observation areas. 2.5 hours after leaving Ullapool, the boat arrived in Stornoway. But instead of heading straight into town, I made a small detour. A 15-minute detour north of Stornoway to Coll Beach. And honestly, this was the perfect introduction to the island. Wide open space, barely another person around. Just sand, sea, and that unmistakable breeze that either wakes you up or nearly takes you off your feet. I was still half asleep when I arrived, but standing there, looking out across the water, I realised that I was going to explore one of my bucket list Scottish islands, and I knew I was not going to forget this adventure in a hurry. And that was the moment it all started to sink in. I was finally here in Lewis and Harris. And just like that, we're in Stornoway. Stornoway is the largest settlement in the Isle of Lewis and also the Outer Hebrides, with a population of around 7,000 people. As someone who lives and works on the Scottish mainland, Lewis and Harris is and feels very remote, and arriving into Stornoway gives that feeling that you're arriving back into civilization. Stornoway is the cultural and economic heart of the Outer Hebrides. It is a busy harbour town with strong Gaelic roots and colourful buildings that ooze Hebridean charm. I wandered through the quaint and colourful streets, past various types of boats, some in better condition than others. And one thing that struck me about Stornoway is the street art. Around every corner there is something new to see. And there are statues. And I mean lots of statues. And more statues. I was not expecting this, but I was pleasantly surprised. Stornoway is also the location of Lewes Castle. And yes, I didn't visit Lewes Castle. But that gives me a reason to come back to Stornoway and Lewis and Harris again. After a long day of travelling, walking, recovering, and nearly been blown sideways at a beach, I checked in to my Airbnb accommodation. It is small, but cosy, and exactly what I needed. I woke up the next morning to a very pleasant surprise. Sunshine. And also, I didn't even realise that I was wearing my t-shirt inside out. Good morning. What a great sleep that was. That's absolute comfortable bed. I really needed it because the night before I didn't have a great sleep. Anyway, it's an absolute gorgeous morning out there. And today, I want to go to a place that's been on my bucket list. It's one of the best beaches in the UK and, in my own personal opinion, the world. It's a place called Luskintire. After checking the weather forecast, it was going to be a lot windier later on, so I got moving quickly. My first stop was a place I'd wanted to visit for a very long time, Luskintyre Beach. Often ranked among the best beaches in the UK and even the world. They call this the Outer Hebrides. I think this is out of this world. Definitely not a day for going for a paddle. I bet she's absolutely cold now as well. It's famous for its white sand and clear turquoise water. And yes, it really does look like this. The only thing missing is the warm temperature. But one thing you will encounter is wind. There is always wind. But honestly, walking along that vast stretch of sand, I didn't care, because this is my happy place. Right, back in the car, so let's see where we can go to next. Go on, pal, you can do it. Next, I stepped back in time at the Callanish Standing Stones. Dating back to around 3000 BC, these stones are older than Stonehenge. Arranged in a distinctive cross-shaped pattern, they are believed to have been used for ritual or astronomical purposes, or possibly just a very ambitious landscaping project. Either way, there is something about this place. It's quiet, atmospheric, and just a little bit eerie, but very special as well. Oh my, I've just had the shelter just behind the stones here. Can you hear it? It's absolutely... You can say it's a bit breezy. But yeah, it's time for me to head back to the car. I then visited Callanish Blackhouse Village, a restored village that shows how people lived here in the past. These traditional homes, known as blackhouses, were built with thick stone walls and thatched roofs, and often shared with livestock. Yes, people and animals under one roof. Some of these buildings are now self-catering accommodation, so you can actually stay in one, which is great as long as you don't mind a slightly more rustic experience. I finished the day at Stornoway broch. Now, a broch is an Iron Age stone tower built over 2000 years ago. No cement, no modern tools, just carefully stacked stone and a lot of determination. Standing inside it, you can't help but wonder how on earth they built it. Oh, let's have a look. Bet the views are great, but I bet it's gusty as well. By day 3, I fully embraced island life, which mainly meant accepting the windy conditions. I started today at the Arnold Blackhouse. It is a preserved traditional home, showing how people lived here as recently as the early 20th century. The name Blackhouse doesn't come from the colour, but from the smoke of the peat fires, which blackened the interior over time. Watch the head. Oh, it looks amazing. What's that? To churn butter. And across the road is the White House, a more modern home. This looks a little bit more modern than the black houses. And the contrast between the two is striking. So we go in here. Oh, it's like this is the living room. Oh, I love the armchair. Here I am back in the shelter of my own car. And sites like the Arnold Blackhouse are very popular, especially on wet and windy days like this. You do need probably 1-2 hours to have a full proper wander around the place. I really couldn't do it because there is actually an island tour bus, and they had their own paid for guide, and I just didn't want to get into the way of their experience of the place. So yeah, they do have a visitor centre, and there are guide and information books for sale. I think this actually cost me £5. Don't know, is there a price on it? So yeah, I think it was £5 anyway. Time to go somewhere else. Just hope the weather just settles down a wee bit. That's all. Next, I drove to the very north of Lewis, to a town called Ness, and I visited Cummun Iach. It is a museum dedicated to life in the Ness area, covering crofting, fishing, and local history in incredible detail. It is genuinely fascinating to see how society functioned here over the last few generations. And it gives you a real sense of what life here was really like. I did consider trying the cafe, but it was absolutely packed, and I wasn't quite ready to wait long enough to become part of the exhibition. But I did call into the gift shop. Here you are, folks. Just stopped into the gift shop. Would you believe it? It was just my luck that the paper bag carrying all of my purchases from the gift shop decided that it was going to disintegrate. While I was picking up everything that I bought from the gift shop, I was thinking about where I was going to go next. Time to go see a well-known lighthouse. It's probably going to be windy. What do you mean probably? It will be windy. It is one of the most windiest places in the whole of the United Kingdom. So I'll see you when we get there. Bye, folks. You're probably wondering why there's a lack of driving footage. It's because of this. Couple of things. This keeps falling off. Keep clearing the area where it is actually mounted, but it doesn't last maybe 5 minutes any longer, so I'll probably need to invest into something else. And plus, what I use as a camera is actually my old iPhone, and I've cleared so much storage from it, but it's on its last legs. This is quite an old iPhone. Battery doesn't last too long on it now. So yeah, if you're wondering why the lack of driving footage, that's your answer. So I finished the day at the very northern tip of the island, the butt of Lewis Lighthouse. Built in 1862, this lighthouse stands against some of the most rugged coastline in Scotland. Cliffs, waves, wind. Lots of wind. I was expecting nice views, but unfortunately the weather wasn't exactly playing ball. But I was not expecting to see how rugged the coastline is up here, which made up for the lack of views. On a clear day, you'll be able to see the northern part of Scotland up there. No such luck today. Time to head back to the car before I'm blown over a cliff. As you can see, the weather has not improved, judging by my wind-swept appearance, and also I've got raindrops on my glasses. I've got early sailing tomorrow from Stornoway to Ullapool, so I have to head back to my Airbnb and get myself ready for the next part of our journey, which is from Stornoway to Ullapool. Oh, good morning. Honestly, don't really want to leave this bed, but gotta get up. See, it's my alarm's just sort of gone off. It's 4:10 in the morning. So yeah, today I'll catch the ferry all the way to Ullapool. Right, time to get up. Let's get ready. I'm not perfect, but I'm sure I'm alright for the rest of the day. The next morning, very early, I packed up, said goodbye to my little pod, and made my way back to Stornoway. I boarded the very first ferry of the day. I crossed the Minch once again, and appreciating how beautiful this ferry crossing is. And just like that, after a very comfortable ferry crossing, my adventure to Lewis and Harris was over. Lewis and Harris isn't the easiest place to reach. It's remote. It's wild. And the weather does whatever it wants. But that's exactly what makes it special. From ancient stones to endless beaches, to traditions that are still alive today, this island feels different, untamed, authentic, and completely unforgettable. If you ever thought about visiting, do it. Just bring a good jacket. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Would you brave the wind for Luskintire Beach? Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.